Chapter 19, Summer of 2011. In late May, we moved up to Ogunquit for our usual summer stay. Only this time it wasn't usual. We had decided to sell one of our condo units, but weren't having much success, so we rented it for a week in late June. In order to prepare the unit for our renters, we had to furnish the unit. This meant several trips to local and distant furniture stores and specialty shops. We procured a futon, queen-size bed and mattress, easy chair and ottoman, night tables and side tables, mattress covers and pillows, to name a few of the items. Other items consisted of cleaning supplies, shower curtains, bathroom supplies, etc. The first few weeks were far from restful, but full of accomplishment. We did take a day off and travel to LL Bean in Freeport, Maine. It was kind of an annual pilgrimage that we take. I bought some stuff I really didn't need, and Diana bought some stuff she felt she could use. We joined Mickey and Sharon for a drive to Hampton Beach to a place called the Beach Plum. Mickey told us to order the foot-long lobster roll and to share it, as one would be more than enough for the two of us. I secretly questioned this. He was right. The lobster roll was stuffed and overflowing with pure lobster. There was so much to eat that it took us several minutes of eating with a fork before we were able to work our way down through the fallen lobster meat to the lobster meat in the roll. The Beach Plum was located on the shore, and we ate at a table under trees, enjoying the sea breezes as we stuffed ourselves with the contents of the foot long. It was a very special summer with several memorable events. Rachel, Jimmy, and Peter rented a 5-bedroom old Victorian 2-towered house on a bluff overlooking the ocean at York Beach, 7 miles from Ogunquit, for a week in early August. The occupants of the house were Rachel, Henry, his 2 nephews Andrew and Joseph, Jimmy, Victoria, Jim's daughter Michal, and her cousin Yara, as well as Peter, Karen, and Olivia. Diana and I visited the gang, and we all had a wonderful cookout there, topped off with a huge whoopie pie. That week got off on a sad note as we learned that Victoria's father, George, had to be operated on for colon cancer. Fortunately, the operation was successful, and George pulled through with a hopeful prognosis. Vicky had stayed in Washington to be with her father and the family through the crises, but joined Jimmy at the York Beach house after her father's operation was over and he was out of immediate danger. The biggest event of the summer was a surprise 80th birthday party for my brother Mickey. It was held at Jonathan's restaurant in Ogunquit and was attended by over 90 friends and family. Mickey was totally surprised and stunned as he walked into the room and was greeted by a thunderous round of applause and happy birthdays. Relatives from all sides of the family were there, as well as old college buddies and his Durham men's basketball organization team members, aka Dumbo, and many other close friends. The party was organized by his daughter, Suzanne. I helped by selecting the venue for the party and making a financial contribution. Diana and I had several guests stay with us in our condominium, as well as in a unit that we also rent out. Our visitors included Irv and Selma Herzog, Mark and Jane Cohen, Peter, Karen and Olivia, Oji, Jim, Michal, Moosh, Ian, Nalina, and their children. We are expecting Frank and Diane Chethik a few weeks from the time of this wording. We made several visits to Jerry and Susan's summer home on Little Sebago Lake and partook of motorboat rides and enjoyed cookouts. One of the more memorable events of the summer was the get-together in Old Orchard Beach of the Documenting Maine jury group. My brother Mickey and his wife Sharon joined Diana and I at the reunion. We saw many old friends from our past whom we hadn't seen in decades. Among them were Sid Geller from Portland, a law school classmate of mine, Jack Rubin and his wife Renee from Lewiston, Auburn, Arthur Shepard from Lewiston, and members of the Wilner family. Stories were shared about the businesses our fathers and grandfathers started throughout the state of Maine. Also shared were stories of our experiences at Hebrew schools. Many spoke highly of Rabbi Barrett. We had a very scary episode in late August. Diana and I were walking down the steep grade of Israel Head Road from our condo when suddenly Diana lost consciousness and fell, sustaining bloody bruises to her cheek, upper lip, chin, and knees. She sat up dazed and did not know who she was or why she had fallen. She shortly regained her senses. We rushed her to the emergency urgent care unit in Wells, where they immediately started to monitor her heart and blood pressure. They cleansed her wounds and sent her to York Hospital via ambulance for 24-hour observation and further tests. She underwent tests such as X-ray, EKG, and echocardiogram, among others. Fortunately, all tests were negative and revealed no abnormalities. The doctor, William Kumi, released her after the 24 hours of observation and tests. He said whatever happened probably would not repeat itself. We surmised it was a sudden drop in blood pressure due to the medication Diana was taking. I must admit that I was very upset and scared. It was not pleasant driving back to our condominium alone after leaving Diana hooked up to all sorts of monitoring devices at the hospital. I had a fitful night's rest and spent most of the next day at the hospital with Diana until her release late in the afternoon. Mickey and Sharon came over the following day with chicken soup with matzo balls and deviled eggs. We ate well as Diana's bruises matured into scabs. Because of Diana's fall and subsequent hospitalization, we canceled our planned trip to the Bangor Music Festival where Henry and Rachel were working. We also canceled a trip to Bar Harbor where we planned on going after the Bangor Music Festival. As it turned out, even if Diana had not experienced the medical problem, we couldn't have gone anyway. An enormous hurricane/tropical storm named Irene slammed into the east coast of the United States on August 27, 2011, and caused havoc all along the east coast up to and including Maine. Fortunately, the power of the storm had moved slightly to the west and didn't cause too much damage to Ogunquit, which got heavy rains and 30-plus mile-an-hour winds. Transportation all along the east coast was disrupted. The weather eventually cleared, and along with Meyer and Nava, Diana and I spent a day and a half in Acadia National Park, where we shared magnificent scenery and stayed at a 100-year-old Victorian B&B. We met Mickey and Sharon several times during the summer for dinner at various restaurants in Portsmouth, Kittery, and Berwick. Great news from our granddaughters and Israeli niece June 2012. OG won an acting scholarship for an improv group and will be performing as a paid professional this summer. Her academic year was successful as she did well in school. At age 15, she is quite accomplished, and Diana and I are very proud of her. Michal was accepted to the Kirov Ballet School in Washington, D.C., and will attend rigorous classes there during the summer. She will stay with Jim and Victoria and hopefully be able to visit us in Maine before heading back to Israel.